Hello and welcome to today's Get in Tune. We are starting on part 4 of making comics. So last time when I was with you guys, I did a comic. We created the character, Pee-wee and Jimmy. So we're going to talk about the inking and stuff. But before we do, let's play the fun intro. All right. So like I was saying, last time we were here, I created these characters, Pee-wee and Jimmy. I showed you how to kind of develop characters on part 2, I believe it was. Or part 1, I don't remember. Then, part 1 was creating the kind of coming up with ideas, creating the characters. Part 2, we were writing some comic strip ideas. Part 3, we were learning how to pencil out the comic. And now part 4, we're going to ink it. Now, last time I said I'd finish the comic penciling. Unfortunately, due to my schedule, I didn't get to finish. But I did have that one panel fully drawn. So I'm going to talk about inking that panel. When we look at the panels that we're going to ink today, and we're going to get to a little bit of coloring too, what I want to talk to you guys about is, again, I'm doing this digitally. You're going to be using probably traditional tools like felt tip markers, like Sharpies and other types right now while you're learning. So let's move over to my screen. Take a look at what we did last time. Now, we have a pattern in the way we create stuff, right? So the first inking, let me get on a layer that's active, please. So inking. Step 1. Ink the borders. That's the first thing we ink. Then we ink text. Then we ink the balloons. And then finally, we ink the image. Oops, that should be an M. And the final thing after that is fill in large black areas. Now, what I'm showing you is very old school. This is the way I was taught a very long time ago, and it's okay to kind of change it up a little bit if need be. I don't want to say you need to, but if you're doing it traditionally, this is a good method to follow. This is so you don't smear any, of your drawings or your inks later on. So it's the traditional way of working. These days, a lot of people do text digitally, so some people just leave space for text and edit in after they ink and color the entire image. But we're going to look at panel 1 today, that first panel. So I'm going to zoom into that, but let me take off those guidelines because there's no dialogue or anything. Hello, Noah. Welcome back. And I'm glad to hear you're working on your game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here. And we're going to go to zoom in. And I'm just going to move it so that panel 1 is front and center here. And I'll zoom out later. Let me zoom out so I get the whole panel in. Okay. So you remember I did this in pencil here. And what I do when I work in pencil, and I'm going to turn off things I don't need right now. Okay, I need that one. I'm going to turn that. Nope, that I want. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn this. Don't need that. Looking for that basic pencil piece here. So if you are working, like I said last time, you could do this on a light box if you have one. Do I have my light box near to show? Thought I put it around here somewhere. Sorry, I just moved some stuff around in my studio. I'm still figuring out where I put everything. It's okay right now. I might have put it away in my closet just because of the size. So when we're inking, it's kind of a little bit like tracing, but you want to try to get some thick to thin lines on here. So what I like to do is I'm going to lower the opacity, meaning I'm going to make it lighter so I can see it better. But on a light box, this is what it would look like. It'd be a lighter version when you have another sheet of paper on top of it. And I'm still going to think about that method I just showed you. So inking the border. So I'm going to choose my brush. I'm going to choose a brush that I like. So I'm going to use the hard round, make sure my pressure sensitivity is on. And I'm going to use, I like kind of thicker borders. So, I mean, it depends on what I'm doing, but for the most part, I like a thicker border. So I'm going to go with, let's see if 20 is too big. And it is, and the reason it's doing that is because I didn't change my layer. Let's go to a new layer. Okay. So if I hold the shift key as I make it, I think that's too big. It's a nice border, but it's a little too big. And in reality, you're going to want to use a ruler for it. So I have a ruler. Let me just switch over again here. I got a ruler right here. This one's kind of a long one. If you have a 12-inch or whatever, that's fine. This is what, 18, I think? Yeah. And when you put your ruler down on a piece of paper, it's like super flat. All right. And sometimes that can smear the ink because you're right up against the edge. So a little trick is to take a roll of tape here and take a few pieces of tape. And what I like to do is I don't want to make them big, right? But I'll put them sporadically throughout. I'll show you in a moment here. And this is one layer of tape on the back. It's actually already going to give it a slight height, but you can build that height by adding a couple of different layers. I don't want to waste my tape, so I'm not going to do it. But you can see here now I have 2 pieces of tape on here. And if I go 3 or 4, it's going to just constantly add a little bit of height. Not a huge amount, but enough that if you're rolling your pencil or pen across the side, the ink's not going to bleed on it. All right? So that's just a little tip working traditionally. When you work digitally like me, and I'm in Photoshop, the shift key is what helps me keep it straight. So I'm going to go down to, let me see how a 15-point thing works. And that's not too bad, but let's try 10, right? And so I think that's better. Whoops. That thing came up because of the shift key. All right. Whoops, did not hit the shift key on that one. Now you'll notice I have these little edges here. It's going to be a very big, they kind of go over a bit. So taking my eraser, and in Photoshop, with this, I like to use the block eraser. And I just want to come in and clean it up. Okay? And if we zoom out, we can see we got a much stronger corner. And that could happen. It's okay. Erasers are our friends. That white tape I just showed you, that's a white masking tape. It's also called artist tape sometimes. And with that artist tape, sometimes you can take a little piece off and put it over a mistake. There's stuff called Pro White, which is, you don't want to, I mean, if you're just starting out, you don't want to pay for it. You can use whiteout too, but whiteout going over again with ink will smear and change the color of it. All right. So now here I am. I inked the border. I like to do them on separate layers. And now I got the kid here. So there's a few things I can do. Now in this software here, because it's a software, I can come in and use tools to make everything straight here. And it's like using a ruler. And I'm going to go with, say, 4. Okay, let's see. How does it look? Oh, sorry, I forgot. Let me make a selection. Whoops, undo. Selection. Okay. And now we'll come in here and edit and add that stroke to it. Okay. So you can see here some went a little overboard and on the edge here. That's fine. Just come in and erase those. Okay. And you see I got these now nice straight lines. If I want to, I can do the same thing. Here, I'll probably, I'm going to, for speed, I'm just going to do them a little quicker by hand. But you want to come down, you want to give it a strong line. So let's zoom in, and in digital art, zooming in is always best. So I'm going to come down, and I'm going to come down, and if it's not perfect, it's okay, because honestly, nothing man-made, or actually only things like man-made can have perfectly straight lines. You hardly find that in nature. Nature is more organic, but we're working with wood in this image, at least in my opinion. So oops. One more time. Undo. I don't like that. Whoops. Didn't mean that. So just try to, when you're doing these, use a ruler. I could have, and I'll undo the last few I did here. I can hold that shift key to get that ruler feel, right? Whoops, undo. I don't know why that my hand jerked for a second. Keep hitting the wrong key. So you see the difference in the lines there? It all depends on your style. What do you want to, or how do you want it to look? What I'm going to do for here, because I don't like drawing long lines like that, perfectly straight, I'm going to use that tool again that I created, and I'm going to make it very thin, like super ultra thin. So there's a little thickness to it, not a lot. And I'm going to, let's go to make selection. And this one I'm going to go, oh, didn't make the selection, huh? What happened? Come on. Oh, I hit something there. Okay, make selection, go over there, edit. Some things appearing on two different screens, so sometimes I forget to take care of it. But now I got this nice line right there, and I could adjust it in, moving it. Oops, hold on, they're done on the same layer, so I'd have to select it to move it up or down, right? I'll notice that I have some stuff that might need to be erased, some lines that need to be longer. If I don't know if you can see it if I zoom in maybe a little bit more. You see how some of the lines aren't touching, some of the lines are going over. That could be taken care of during cleanup time, but it's always good. I sometimes like to wait till the end to do the erasing. So this little erasing part here, I would do towards the end of my cleanup time. But if I see these lines not touching, I would come over and redo them if need be. Okay? I'm not going to do all the touch-ups right now. That's not something I need to worry about. And if you notice, if I turn off that layer below, it's starting to look really nice and clean, right? So let me turn that back on. And even though I did this digitally, one of the things you want to do when you're inking is if you're right-handed, you always want to ink top to bottom. Okay, that's it. It's always top to bottom, right? If you're right-handed, you're going to ink from right to left, or it'd be left to right. So left to right. And if you're left-handed, you want to go in the opposite way. So it'd be right to left. And the reason for that is that you don't smudge or ink your work. When it's digital, you can kind of jump around because you're not going to worry about smudging. But I still kind of have that thought process. So right now, those steps were out of the way for me. Okay? And having those steps out of the way for me means if I was to do this traditionally, I would still do those. I would still do the banister. Then I'd come in and probably ink Jimmy. But I'm not going to do that right now because I want to take care of the background, because to me, inking Jimmy and Jumbo are going to be the most fun part of this. So I come in, and I don't like that. I'm going to zoom in. Got to remember, zoom in. It's your friend. Okay. Whoops, undo. Nope, not liking that. Okay. And then I'm going to come down here, and we're going to have our lampshade. And these lines, because I angled it out, flared out a bit, I'm going to actually mess with these lines a little bit and change up. Now remember, you could always change up your drawing until the inks are on there. So once the inks are on, that's the final part of it, right? So I'm going to come and I'm going to ink the the pole to this, and I'm going to use the shift key to give me some straight lines. And you know what, though? I'm looking at this, and I'm going to redo. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to redo the banister, not the banister, the lamp. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is something special I can do because I'm digitally inking. But I want different line weights in my work. I want stuff to pop. So I don't want the background to be equal to the foreground. The foreground meaning the TV. Meaning the TV and Jimmy and Pee Wee. And I think I called them Jumbo earlier. I meant Pee Wee. So I'm going to take a smaller point size on the pens. So right now, I'm going to choose. I was at 8. I'm going to choose a 6. So if I choose a 6. You can see now the lines are a little thinner than before. And this, when I go back and ink the other guy, you will see that maybe I'll just do a little. kind of shows some thickness in there. Now I'm gonna do the lampshade, the lamp here. Oops. Now remember, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. We'll use a different eraser for this one here. And it's okay to use templates. I mean, I have templates that I've used for lots of different things, going for circles and rectangles and whatnot. I know they're out here somewhere. I'll try to pull them out before we end today, so I can show you some of the things. They may personally be in my closet with the light box, but if I have to, I'll run in that real quick. All right, so I'm going to ink the couch now. And I'm not going to waste my time with you know, straight lines all the time, especially on the couch, because the couch gets a lot of use. It gets beat up quite a bit, you know? So unless you want it to be perfect, you don't have to. You know, over the years, a couch kind of, even though it still may look nice, you know, the seats are not always going to be fluffy and, whoops, you know, and always, you know, look like you bought them on day one. So sometimes you can get away with making the couch not look so neat, you know? But I do like the look of a perfect couch. I'm not going to lie to you there. Actually, you know what? You wouldn't see those right there. You would see this, you would see this one, and this one might be there. All right? And I'm going to put a little circle there, and the couch has got like a wavy type of skirt on the bottom with some lines in it. Okay, so if I zoom out now a bit, and we turn off, I believe it's this layer. No. Well, that layer doesn't matter. But this layer right now. You see that? You see how that's starting to come together? It's starting to look like an actual comic panel. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn that layer back on so we can see it. And now I'm going to go to a thicker point. So I was at 8 for the border. I did the background in 6. For now, I'm going to use 8 for the kid and the dog there, for Jimmy and Pee-wee. All right. And you can start wherever you feel comfortable. Don't forget, rotate your paper if you need to. Take your time also when you're inking. I'm inking, and I'm not inking fast because I want to get this, I want to rush this and get it done. You'll develop what speed works best for you. And I still ink very slowly a lot of times, especially on backgrounds. People, though, for me, are my specialty. I can draw, you know, I love to draw expressions, and I love to draw people in poses and things like that. So for me, I have a thing, and like I've said this before, it comes from my animation background. I'm about capturing motion. And sometimes for me, that means adding a bit of speed to my work, you know? And I always recommend pulling, you know, to yourself. Don't push. Pushing, this is pushing. Okay? You saw how that line was made? I went up away from me. I didn't pull it towards my body like this. You know, I wanna get it the way I feel comfortable. Now, there are some people who push, and the reason we used to say that is because if you're working with an old dip pen, which some artists still do, or a lot of artists still use paintbrushes, that are traditional, what would happen is you can splatter the ink by pushing. Paintbrush, if I was taught to pull, but you can kind of go in either direction, but you extend the bristles, like they're going to fray and kind of break. They're not going to keep that sharp point if you push away sometimes. So pulling your work to yourself is always the best option. All right. And you'll notice, like right here, this line by the chin is heavier that I made, is because the chin has a natural shadow. So like the pen I'm using, I can go very light and create a thin line, or get heavy and create a thick. So I'm trying to create in some places a balance of the thick to thin. I'm going to fix this arm here. And you see how I kind of started a little thinner here? I got thicker. And as I come down, I'm coming down thinner to his arm. What this does, like I said, it creates natural shadows. There we go. Now I think I might want to change his eyebrows. I know he looks very happy, but I'm thinking if I kind of come in one up and one like so, maybe it looks like he's kind of in this thinking pose, or I don't know. Let's see, maybe. And then we got his nose. And we're going to have this big smile. I'm going to make it a little goofier just for silliness. Nope, I don't like that. Let's go up like that. And we'll keep his tongue out, but I'm going to put his tongue. Actually, we can make this his tongue coming down, connecting to that line. You see that? I kind of like that. And now we're going to draw or ink over. Okay. Create the controller here. That, and I'm going to just put the buttons that he's on, and maybe there's something there. Maybe I'll make it, whoops, not what I wanted there. Maybe I'll put a little button down there. I don't like where that line is right here, this little gray line. So I'm going to bring that in a little closer like that. And while I'm here, I'm going to go back. I'm on 8. I'm going to go back down to the 6 or even a 5. I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm going to create that floor. Now, I just don't like where I have it. I'll tell you why. I don't like when lines intersect where two other lines meet. That's called a tangent, and it's like you don't know where to look. So I'm going to just raise the line a little bit right there. And I'm going to kind of, for now, just guess, but usually using the ruler, I can come in and really make that perfect across and even. All right. So let's scroll down a bit here. And you'll notice, I know I'm talking while I'm doing this, but I'm also kind of taking my time. I've been inking this now for about, what, maybe this character alone, maybe 10 minutes. I wanted this leg to be a little higher. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do? I got to fix those 2 lines there. I forgot to raise it back up to 8. Just don't forget to do things like that. That happens quite a bit to me. It's common to artists, and I think everyone in general. You forget you're in the middle of something, and you forget what you were working with here. And I want this leg to pop up a bit more. Mm-hmm. Nope, not liking that. One thing you'll notice is I haven't rotated the paper yet, but this might be the perfect time to do so. Mm-hmm. Let's zoom out and take a look. Let's turn this off. I think it's coming out pretty good. Hope you guys are liking it. What I'm going to do now is I'll do the TV. I'll do the TV now. So let me get that. I want to make those nice lines again. So I'm going to come over here to here, 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 middle up, come out a bit. Nope, not what I want. I guess it didn't create the line I wanted. Okay. Make selection. Yep. Edit. Come on, edit. Fill it. And I'm going to do the same thing, just now in the opposite direction. I'm going to start. I'll start here, so I know where I'm supposed to be. Oops. Now, again, for you guys, what I'm doing right now would be done with a ruler. Okay. Now, it's okay that my... Whoa, what'd I do? Hold on. Okay. Now, it's okay that my pixel, my TV isn't 100% lined up here, right? And I'll tell you why. Because it's a piece of machine, so I can go in with color and it'll still feel correct. Let's get back and we're going to ink Pee-wee in. And then this will be inked. And I'll zoom in here. And we'll come over. There we go. And I'm going a little bit rough on the ears because not only do I want to make them kind of floppy, but I want them to have a little roughness to him, like he's kind of got shaggy ears. Oops. And there he is sleeping, dreaming about dog treats and chasing squirrels and whatever else dogs dream of. And sometimes I don't follow my lines 100% perfectly because in my head I do want to change things on occasion. So I take the liberty to do so because it's my work. I'm not trying to follow some other artist's work and lines and stuff. Okay, now let's zoom out. Not that far. get that hand. Okay. Let's remove this. Okay. So there we've got an inked version. Now what I do is I go back and I will fill in all the areas that are supposed to be black. Excuse me, with black, with solid black areas. I'll also come in and erase pieces. Like right here I feel like that can be erased a bit, right? And I'm going to zoom in because I did it from far away, that I feel like I messed up, and I did a little, just a tad. Okay. So let's put in some solid blacks in some areas. So I'm going to add, the light's not going to be on, but we're going to see a little shadow from the lamp. Maybe a little bit more here. His nose is going to be solid black. His ears will be 2. His spot. I'm gonna make Jimmy's pants black as well. So let's go look at this here. And I'm going to increase my brush size. Whoops, let me on the brush tool. So I could color, and it's okay if you color over the lines, you know, where it's bent. I mean, you can always add in like a white line. Some artists do that. Some artists like to leave it black, you know, to show that it's a solid pair of pants. I haven't decided what I want to do, but I know where that line would be because it's not just one solid color. Or here, there's a break right there. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to color a bit. If I want to, and I'll do this afterwards with an eraser, and there are quicker ways to color, but sometimes just going like this is fun. Okay. I'm going to do this one the other way, which is use a selection tool to draw around the area. And fill it in with the paint bucket. Now, you'll notice that it leaves that outside anti-alias because that's what I have on, but I can just go to edit, fill, and it should fill the entire shape for me and not give me that. You see? So, if I zoom out now, just so we can see it, okay? I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do the dog. And I'm going to go a little quicker. And then add here. Now, one thing we haven't done yet is decide on the colors that the dog's going to be here, what Pee-wee's going to be, what Jimmy's going to be, what color shirt. So sometimes I'll decide that after, because maybe I want to change it up all the time. I might even make the TV just kind of, when we get to coloring, I'll do that. So now that I got this all done, let me save it. We're going to do what we call adding in the flats. All right. Now, adding in the flats means the flat colors of. Let's do this real quick. Sorry. All right. Adding in the flats is the flat colors of the entire image. So when we color, I like to color behind the images. So I'm going to go behind all the pieces here. And let me just go back up to here real quick. I want to fill this in on the nose. It's bothering me. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do with Pee-wee, and I like to separate the colors. So I'm going to call this one Pee-wee colors. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, whoops, let's bring this back over here. I'm going to use that tool that I showed you, the selection tool, and it won't go over the black. So I'm just going to choose everything. Whoops, wrong selection tool. I'm using the lasso tool here. So I'm going to draw everything basically here that has white on it, that doesn't need to worry about the black. If I go into the black a bit, it's okay. And I think I'm going to give him kind of a yellowish texture. And it's okay if I go a little outside the lines. I can always erase that later. All right. So I'm going to choose a color. And, oh wait, this is in grayscale, I believe, right? I think I created in grayscale. So let me just go see. Sorry. Image mode. Oh, no, I'm in the colors. Okay. So I'm going to choose my colors, and I'm going to go towards like a yellowish, which will probably be more right around here or so. And I'm going to bring it in and kind of give him a light color there. And I'm going to just drop it in the paint. And that's because, wait a second, why did it cover the shouldn't have covered that white unless, hold on, let me see something. I forgot to set this to multiply. Did I get the right one? What happened? I'm sorry, just give me a second. Looks like I lost something. Where did my layer go to? Should be like a layer 12, I would believe. There it is. Oh no, layer 11. Okay. So what happened, what it seems to have happened, okay. Hold on 1 second. What's going on here? Indeed. Okay. So that is that. So Pee-wee's colors are here. Okay. Let me just do this. That's set to multiply. Do I have something above it that's messing it up? No. That's the strangest thing. Some weird stuff always happens. Okay, I got it fixed. I don't know why that happened though. All right? I shouldn't have done that. So now I'm going to go over and go to Jimmy here, and I think I want to make his feet, his shoes, kind of in that same family but brighter. So I'm going to go with a. No, hold on. Something's going on. The new layer didn't take. That's where I want that. Okay. Okay, so fill. Now, some cartoonists like to just put the flats in and they'll leave the flats in. And I'm kind of one of those guys. I like to do that. But if you want, there's no reason you can't add shadows to it. I don't know if we're going to get to the shadows today. Okay. And now this is going to be his skin tone. I'll come over here. So yeah, the WAM coloring is a quick way that a lot of, I think, artists go use to just fill large areas quicker. Okay. And I think his shirt, I'm going to make like a bluish color. So let's go with maybe about 75 here. Let's go with, we'll do just 0 on the rest. Okay. Now, if you were going to color yours, I would wait till you're done inking everything, number one, and then make photocopies. Making photocopies will allow you to practice color. Whoops, sorry. Will allow you to practice coloring different methods: crayons, colored pencils, markers, your choice. You know, so you can do a bunch of different types of coloring tests. I'll come back to the controller after. I think hair color wise, I think I want to go with kind of like a something in the red family for him. So maybe let's try 50% red with, or magenta with maybe 75% yellow. I'm not really too happy with that color, but I like the family that it's in. So let's go kind of around here. Edit fill. Oops, didn't. Fill. And there we go. And I also, before I forget, 25% magenta is the pink I like to use for tones. So I'm just going to get the brush tool out and just color it in. Okay. So I'm going to zoom out, and we can see here that we got the main characters colored in. I'm going to quickly do the rest so we can see. So let's do the lamp. I'll give it a goldish type of texture. The couch will make the couch like a brownish color. And it's going to be dark, like chocolate brown. Let me zoom in. You know what? just be quicker this way. Okay. Okay. The lampshade I'm going to leave white. I think the floor I'll worry about after. Let's give the banister. Let's keep it wood. We'll just keep it like a lighter wood. And kind of go out. So maybe over here. Okay. I'm just going to make it all at once here. And again, if mine's a little off, I'll go back in the cleanup stage and erase. I see some places I'm not getting right now that I want to get. There we go, and any places I missed, yeah. So I'm just going to take the brush and just going to come in and do a quick cleanup here. Okay. Now, what color would the walls be? I'm going to leave mine white. I might make this background wall a different color, so what I'll do is I'll put that below the stairs, and maybe I'll give it a light, like a very light bluish color maybe. And let me just use this one real quick. Okay. And, well, I don't like that color. It's too close to the shirt to me. So let's go with a very light blue. I just want it to be like an off-white, There we go. And the ground that they're sitting on, maybe we'll do... Okay, we'll do... He's yellow, you got brown furniture. I'm going to go with the wood color of the banister and maybe play around with the like they're sitting on a wood floor. So let's get that wood color back. Maybe we'll go a little darker. And for now, this is a quick little trick. Watch this. I use my whole rectangle tool. And I go into my fill. And there it is. Now I've filled in the dog a bit for some reason. I don't know why that did that. It's not supposed to fill in the dog. So let me see something here. I had to move those spots somewhere. Oh, I must have done them on the background layer. That's the problem. Okay, let me do this. Command D. Edit. Copy. Let's just go to a layer above here. Okay, let's see what I got. So I got the colors going on. That's what I want. Okay. Yep. Command D. Edit. Paste special. Paste in place. No, I'm going to do it again. Okay. So that we can multiply. We should be fine now. So now I should be able to put on those colors again that I had. There's that. There's that. Now this one was what? That was nothing. Okay, so that was going to be my floor. So let's get that. I'm just going to drag a box around the floor. I can see I missed a spot. So I'm going to go, I'll fill those in after. And I got this here, and I'm going to fill it in now. And it took the dog color again. Very interesting. Everything is set correctly. What's this one? Yeah. This one? Huh, that's weird. Okay, I guess I'll do it by hand because it's giving me some issue that I can't figure out why. And there's nothing going on here. All right. So let's just draw out the shapes. What's going on here? Am I set to touch? Touch on, touch off. Okay. Edit. Fill. Okay. Command D. On this one here, I'm not going to do. I'm going to come out here. Oops, I'll go and clean that all up in a moment. Okay. All right, Command D there. Let me take the eraser and clean this spot up. I'm going to take the brush. I'm going to fill in some of the area here. Let's bring this in here. Here. I'll do this one quickly here. I don't know why it's going over the dog. That's the one that's confusing me. To enlarge this here, just so I can fill more of an area. Now, after I color this in, I'm going to stop right now. This is just the flats. Actually, I'll do the TV too really quickly. And I see I went out a little bit. I can go in with the eraser or wait till I'm done with everything and do my cleanups. But now what I want to do is I want to grab this. I want a new layer. To here. To here. All right. And I want to take a grayish color. There we go. And there we go. We got the TV right there. All right. So at the moment, we got what is called the flats done. This is meaning the flat color. There is no shadow at the moment going on these. We would do that afterwards and later. All right. So what I'll do next time is I'll show you guys how to add color. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed some comments from Noah here. After the dog color is taken, redraw the outline on the dog and change the color. I could do that. That's something I was going to talk about next time. I come from the old school method. I like that black outline, like old comics. What you're talking about is kind of more of a modern message. Method, I mean, not message, a modern method, which is fine. It works for cartoons. I've done it. I've worked on it. Everything comes down to a matter of preference. Personally, I like the thicker outline. Then you said there's also probably missed closing on the outline, and that's why I call it. Actually, no, I'm using a different method, which I didn't go into detail about because I was trying to talk to you guys about traditional stuff more than digital. But in Photoshop, we have a setting in our layers. My layers are over here, are these things here, that all these things. And over here, there's different modes we got. So right now it's on normal. If I set it to multiply, it's not supposed to affect the black. So I had stuff on multiply, but it was affecting the black. So I was confused. And I figured out why it was happening. It was because it was on the wrong layer. And I had to bring it up to the top, to the proper layer. But so far, we got that. Next time on Monday, we'll go over you know, some shading and some other techniques. Maybe we'll look at it. You know, I don't know if I'll complete it. I'm going to try. Like I said, my schedule's been kind of crazy, but I'll try, and maybe we can have a whole comic done. Otherwise, we'll just have the whole panel done. And I'll talk to you guys about how you could print it up and publish it, and you know, all that fun stuff. So the next class, if you will, we will finish that. This making comics. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I had a lot of fun. I will see you all next time. Remember, everyone, stay safe and have a great day. See you later. And Noah, thank you. I'm glad you had so much fun.